What's going on, everybody? I'm Slav-in-a-tor-ski and welcome to the channel. And I've had a couple of requests, so I figured I might as well do this and compare the two firearms that just released this past week. And that's both the M&P Shield Plus and the Ruger Max 9. So I'm going to do this in my usual comparison factor between the two. I'm not going to go crazy with the digital editing and stuff like I did in the past. That just takes too long, and I want to kind of get this video out today if I can. So, starting first off, we're going to have the M&P on the left and the Ruger on the right. I'm going to start with the packaging and break it down from there, what you get between these two, and kind of compare the two side by side so you can see. So, inside the packaging on both, let's open them up. You kind of see presentation. So for the Smith & Wesson, you get the pistol. Did not mean to slam it down like that. Let me angle the camera down a little bit. All right, so you get the pistol. You get one 10-round magazine with the pistol. And of course, if you want to see a more in-depth review of these two firearms, I do have a separate review for them. And you get a 13-round magazine with the Smith & Wesson. Of course, you get the box, paper, lock, all of that. It's nothing really new. Let me angle this a little bit so the camera can actually see what I'm doing. Sorry about wiggling the camera, just trying to do it all quick for you. All right, and then the Ruger Max 9, it comes with one 10-round magazine, pistol, and one 12-round magazine. And you get the lock, cable, everything like that, but this one also comes with a pinky extension for the magazines on the bottom. So as far as packaging between the two, it's kind of a wash. You get mostly the same things in the packaging, so nothing really to go over too much there. So first, let's hop into the magazines that you get. So for the M&P, or the Shield 9 Plus, they're actually listed on the bottom, kind of like that. Shield 10-rounder, Shield 13-rounder. These are good looking magazines. Nice black finish. They have the Smith & Wesson logo on them. You have the window slots to see what's going on. So I do like these magazines. For the Ruger, you get some nice nickel-plated magazines. Has the Ruger logo on them. Both labeled 9mm. Now you can tell it's the same exact magazine. All they did was just extend one of them. So you do have windows, but you don't have windows for exactly how many rounds are in there. So we do know that this is the 10-rounder and this is the 12-rounder. So in my opinion, the Smith & Wesson is going to win out on the magazines simply because it has one extra round. You have window holes all the way up to 13, so it's not the same exact magazine. It is two separate magazines. So that shows they put a little bit more effort there. And if you actually watch the reviews of these two, I had an issue with one of the Ruger magazines not coming up all the way. So that kind of gives you an idea what's going on there. But I did manage to fix that. Now I know originally for the Smith & Wesson 9, not the Plus, but the 9, I had that same magazine issue where the magazine actually would not seat all the way up. But on this one I haven't had that issue. It was the extended round magazine for the Ruger, where I actually had to take the magazine apart to get this follower to come all the way up. So it's getting stuck right about here. So from my personal experience, I'm definitely going to lean towards the Smith & Wesson when it comes to the magazines, because I do like those quite a bit. Alright, so next thing I want to compare between the two of these are sights, and that's going to include a couple things here, so keep watching. We're going to start with the M&P 9 Shield Plus. If you see me hesitate, it's because I keep getting mixed up between M&P 9 Shield or M&P Shield 9. I think Shield 9 sounds better, but it is 9 Shield Plus, so if you notice me hesitating, that's why. I'm getting tongue-tied there. Alright, so sights. You have some very nice large white dot. It's 3-dot sights. On the back, you'll notice that they are serrated. Very, very nice. They are not night sights in any way. and they are dovetailed on the front and back. They are metal sights, and the rear one is screwed in here to keep it secure. So you could essentially adjust for windage if you needed to, but kind of plain Jane, very simple. Now if you upgraded to the Performance Center, you're going to get an optics cut as well as fiber optic sights on here, and I believe there's some night vision options too. But you're also going to go up from the price point. This is around $550. This is the base model, $550. Okay? That's also going to bring me to another point that I'll make in a second. So, on the Ruger sights, you have blacked out rear sights, but that's not saying they aren't good sights. So you have that kind of ball in the cup thing going on. Then on the front sight, you get a nice fiber optic and tritium sight. That is an awesome, awesome front sight. I have this on my HK-P30SK that I carry. Awesome sights. So, for me, just sights alone, I'm going to go with the Ruger Max 9 on that, because that is an amazing front sight. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't mind seeing them to have kind of that same style in the rear. That's what I have on my carry. As a bonus, because this pistol runs at $499.99, you also get an optics plate. So you can put your red dots and such on there. So this one is the clear winner when it comes to sights and optics, because the Smith & Wesson base model, similar price point, does not have that feature at all. You have to go up to the Performance Center model, which is $800-900 just to get that. So, huge improvement and huge plus for the Ruger Max 9, I think, in my opinion on that. Can't really go wrong with those sights. Now next up is the price point. We've already gone over this in the optics portion, but I want to kind of make it its own little portion as well. So the base model, which is what this is, of the M&P Shield 9 Plus is $550 roughly. You can a little bit here, less and more, but right about $550. To get higher, more expensive ones, if you want night sights, that's adding on extra on top of that. I believe it's like $75 more. If you want the Performance Center with the optics cut, you're running close to $1,000. For the Ruger, it runs right at $499.99. So $500. You get a fiber optic tritium front sight, a nice a nice blacked out back sight, and a cutout for an optic right here. Huge improvement. Value alone, I'm going to say the Ruger hands down beats the heck out of the Shield 9, simply for that optics cut and the front sight, which we already went over. And not to mention, it's $50 cheaper with all these upgrades. A win-win in my book. All right, I'm going to try to stop flapping my hand around so much on the screen so it quits focusing, because I know my camera's kind of weird. Next up, I want to go over the Ergonomics. Kind of the feel and the grip. Now on this one, you have that nice gravelly texture, which it is super, super grippy. Like if your hands don't have calluses or anything like that, that can potentially tear your hand up. But it is very, very grippy. Like if you, let's say you cut yourself, you're in a, let's go to the extreme here, in a gun battle with zombies, your blood all over your hands, that's not going anywhere. Realistically, if it's raining or your hands are sweating also, that's still not going anywhere. It feels good in the hand. I have somewhat large hands, so with the flush mount, can't quite get that pinky on there. But with the extended, I can get that pinky on there and it feels good. You have right here in the webbing of the hand, I have big fat hands, nothing goes over, so there's not going to be any bite. That's a huge plus. You have a nice deep cutout here for the top of your finger. Decently sized trigger guard. There are no ridges up here, but trigger feels good. It's easy to sight down. Pretty nice ergonomics in my opinion. Now the fish scale, while it's very aesthetically pleasing, I really like the look of it. I find that the ones on the front here don't really do much. They're more aesthetic than anything. because it's really hard to get that grip there. At this point, I'm just putting more thumb on the M&P than I am on the fish part. Not bad on the back. Very easy on the back. But the front ones, they look good, but they're not that useful. And the ones on the back, while it looks really good, I think because it's so wavy, it's a little harder to grip, in my opinion. Somebody might, of course, disagree with me there. Now, this is a huge upgrade from the previous Shield Ergonomics here. They put a lot more texture on it, so that's a very, very big plus. All right, now I've spoken enough about that one. Let's go to the Ruger. All right, so the Ruger. Now this one also has decent ergonomics. You get your hand in there. I have big hands, no bite, no issue there. Nice deep cutout for your hand up here. You also have that gravelly texture, but it's nowhere near as abrasive as the Smith & Wesson. And it's a little bit more textured here with bigger spots. There's now there are nice ridges on the front here in case you want to shoot and put your thumb up here, so that's a nice option. The ridges on it are nice and deep, but they are not sharp. Super easy to get your hands on there, super easy to press checks. Ridges are a huge, huge improvement over those. Even those look better, these ones are much, much more useful. Now I would say while the grip, in my opinion, it looks better. I like the design for this part. The Smith & Wesson Shield Plus is more grippy. There seems to be more area that's covered with it. So I like that grip on the Shield Plus a little bit better. Ergonomics are pretty similar, I would say. But if I had to give it to one, I would definitely give it to the Ruger Max 9, simply because the slide cuts are much, much easier to get a hold of. I like having the option of having those serrations on the front of the trigger guard just in case. And it feels good in the hand. Also, this trigger guard is very similar to the SIG P365, almost to the 1/4 of an inch. So that's kind of an idea if you're used to that firearm. This one is very similar to that. Plus, one thing I haven't mentioned yet are the bevels. With the Shield, it's very rounded off, very nice, but a pretty flat front. With the Ruger, see how the one looks like a Dorito and the other one's kind of squared off? With the Ruger, it's very beveled off here. Not so much back here because you have the plate, because it looks more like a thick boy compared to the other one. But on the front, very beveled. I like that kind of sloped back instead of the straight back. Much less of a chance of that getting hung up on things. Trigger guard difference. The trigger guard on the Ruger is significantly larger than the trigger guard on the Smith & Wesson. So if you have gloved hands or something, you can get in there much, much easier. So I would say for ergonomics, I'm honestly going to vote for the Ruger. It feels a lot better in the hand, and just the way they have it built, it is a lot better. Now I know I didn't show it with the mags in yet, so let's go ahead and do that. That's your flush fit. Pinky hangs off. And both of these, the magazines pop out pretty easily. Then you have the full-sized, or the Extendero mag. Feels good. You can get your last pinky on there. Has a nice feel to it. Actually, I'm just going to leave that in. But yeah, still on ergonomics, I'm going to leave that towards the Ruger. Now, as far as accessories go, I don't think there's too many on the market right now because these are so brand new. I know on Ruger's website you can buy all the parts that are already there if you need to replace them. Same goes with Smith & Wesson. I do not think the lights for the previous Shields will fit this Smith & Wesson because neither one of these has a rail on the bottom. But I don't think the lights are going to fit this because it's actually a little bit thicker than the previous Shield, which I mean it kind of had to be to get the extra capacity. So I think that extra thickness in the frame is going to be just enough to make it so the lights don't fit on it. I haven't been able to confirm that yet because I don't have any lights for it or any friends that have gotten back to me. But if I do find out that they do fit, I'll keep you posted. So As far as the Ruger 9, it is brand new. It's kind of based off the LCP frame, but it is significantly larger than the other LCPs. So for that alone, I don't think it's going to fit any of them. But they do already have parts up on the website, and I'm sure third market's going to go crazy on these. Third-party market is going to go crazy on these and just make a bunch of accessories. Just how the Hellcat did, and just like the P365 did. So look forward to that coming soon. Alright, now we're going to kind of go over how you field strip the two of these if you want to clean them, something like that, and the differences. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned previously, I always forget this, but a lot of them have a loaded chamber indicator. These ones both have it. It's just it looks better on the Smith & Wesson. You can actually peek in here and see if there's any brass. If there is, there's a round in there. Same goes with the Ruger. So if I lock the Ruger back, you can kind of look on what's in there. See, that cutout goes all the way in, so you can see that brass. It's a really cool feature. Same with the Smith. You would look right in and see if there's a loaded round. Really cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do is show you how these two come apart. So let's get the mag out, make sure it's safe, nothing going on. Alright. So for the Smith & Wesson, it's pretty much what you're always used to. You lock it back, you rotate that down, and I'm having to do that with two hands because it's still very tough. It's brand new. Then after that, you unlock the slide, pull the trigger, off it comes. Then you can take everything out. That part's, if you want to see how to do all of that, that is in my review for this pistol. But that's all you have to do to break this one down and take it apart. And let's put that extendo mag back in there. For the Ruger, let me get some tools. You can already see it's a little different because I actually need tools. But make sure I get the right tool for the job. I just grab a little punch. This one is a 332. So this part's the same. Drop the mag. Make sure there's nothing in there. All right. So you'll notice here on the side, there's a little door. You're going to pull that door down. You see that half circle and then the full circle inside? You're going to move it just enough so those line up. Because on this side, you see this half circle, that's going to push inside of there and push out that full circle on the inside. It's just a little pin. So easiest way I found to do this is take your punch, just put it in there, and rest it like this. Pull the slide back and see it automatically pushes it out by itself. You don't even have to put any weight onto it. So it's not tough. Once you've done that, pull the trigger, upper slide assembly comes off. You can see the rest of this in the review for this pistol as well. Put it back together, same thing, reverse the process, drop your pin back in, poke it, making sure it's all the way in, lift up the door, you're back. Pretty much exactly like an LCP. So that gives you an idea of what you're looking at there. So as far as ease of taking these down to clean them, I prefer the Smith & Wesson. It's much more traditional. Sorry, I have the windows open and people like their very loud cars around here. But I prefer the Smith & Wesson. It's more traditional, it's easy. The closer to a takedown you get to a Beretta, the more I like it. And while the Ruger's is not hard, you do need another tool for it, a punch of some sort, a pencil pen, well, not a pencil, a pen, something that can easily get in there and push it out. So for that reason alone, in this category, I definitely lean towards the Smith & Wesson. All right, so this portion is going to be difficult for me because I'm not the best at triggers or trigger sensitivity. To me, it has to be pretty extreme for me to not notice the difference, but I can a bit. So we're going to start with the Shield Plus. I'm going to show you the trigger. It does have that trigger bar safety, so if you don't hit in the middle, it blocks it. So we'll listen up. Okay. Reset. It resets almost exactly where it breaks. And you have that sponginess up to there, and there's a definitive wall. You push it past the wall, and it resets almost exactly on that wall. So that's pretty cool. Not a bad trigger at all. Again, I need to get a trigger gauge to find the poundage, because I am not very good at, like, I can't just pull a trigger and tell you, oh, that's a 3-pound trigger. I'm not quite there yet. All right, so Ruger. So you see a trigger here. I've saw in some of the previous comments that, like, it looks like a really cheap trigger. It is metal, at least, but it also has, that middle part is a trigger bar safety. Pull that down. You have all this take up, so you get to here. You have a little bit more, and then it breaks. The reset. It resets right before that little sponginess. So whereas the Smith & Wesson trigger feels like you're pushing up against a brick wall, this one feels like you're pushing in the drywall before it breaks. Yes, I have weird analogies. So to me, honestly, after kind of trying them out side by side, I would say I prefer the Smith & Wesson's trigger. It has a much cleaner break, and it does feel better in the hand. Now, comparing this, the Ruger, to the LCP triggers, I do like this one better than the LCPs. But this is, again, a comparison between these two. Triggers on the two, definitely leaning Smith & Wesson. All right, so now comes the hard question. If you were to ask me if I had to get rid of one of these and I could only keep one, which one would it be? That's not an easy answer for me, because I do like both, but I'll try to work through that answer as best as I can. Now, I can't base it off both companies, because in my opinion, both companies have a great track record. I've loved Smith & Wesson since I was a child. First gun I ever shot was a Smith & Wesson. And Ruger also makes amazing firearms. I've had friends that have had Rugers for their great granddad or something like that. You know, their great uncle has had Rugers and handed them down, and the things still work. So I can't base it off of that. Basing it off any one of the individual things I went in the process earlier, I can't really base it off that, because there's a little give and take between both. But honestly, if I had to absolutely get rid of one and keep the other, or if, let's say you had only enough cash to buy one this year, and you can't buy it, you can't buy both. You can only buy one of these guns this year. If I was to absolutely make a choice, yes, I'm building up and I'm trying to make to a crescendo here, I would choose the Ruger Max 9. The things that push me over the edge on it, while I absolutely love the grip on this, the trigger is amazing, Smith & Wesson makes awesome products, I am a sucker for features. So for $50 less, you get the tritium fiber optic front sight. That's a huge selling point for me. It could be different for other people, but for me, that's a huge selling point. You get the option of an optic. Mind you, this is all $50 less. You get the option of an optic. You do lose one round of capacity, but that's just one bullet. And what's the general rule of a self or concealed carry, like any sort of incident you get into? 3-3-3. 3 feet, 3 shots, 3 seconds, I think is what it goes. Something along those lines. So 12 is more than enough. 13 is always good because you get one more with the Smith, but I can deal with 12. That's better than 10 or 8. So you have the optics plate, you have the fiber optic, really do it for me. While the trigger is not as good as the Smith & Wesson, it's still not a bad trigger. I don't like the takedown as much as the Smith & Wesson, but it's not hard and it's easy. And I can already find the accessories for this online easily. I mean, you count Smith & Wesson too, but these are right on Ruger's website, and you can buy them right off of there. I've had good experience with Ruger's website in the past, so I highly suggest them. Never had any issues. Plus the front serrations. I will actually take a lot of features and different options with a firearm over a really good trigger and a really good feel. Just because I can teach myself to get used to the trigger, I can teach myself to get used to the ergonomics, which they are not bad on this at all. And not bad. This is not saying in any way I don't like the M&P. because I do. This is like choosing between two children. It's not easy. Because the Smith & Wesson also just feels really good in the hand. Also decent quality. I can't really complain. But again, I know most people are watching this video to get my opinion as to which of the two I would go for in the end. There you have it. If I could only choose one. But here's another thing. If you're watching this video, you also know I didn't choose just one. So yeah, I'm kind of contradicting myself there a little bit, but we're doing what ifs here, and I'm trying to help people out with their decisions. And I've had some direct questions of comparing these two firearms from some people in the comment section of my previous videos, and I hope that this helps them out, so that way they can tell what my opinion is, or maybe they decide they could decide which one they want based off what they see here. And side by side makes a huge difference. So let me actually do a side by side before the video goes. So I'm going to stand underneath, or behind the camera. Ruger's on the right, Smith is on the left. I'm trying to do this best I can, so I apologize. It's a little awkward. See, Ruger's a little shorter. As far as length, Ruger's also a little shorter in length overall. They are both unloaded, so nobody panic. You see there, underneath. Where we did the side. Let's do a side-by-side comparison like this. Gives you an idea. And a side-by-side comparison like this. So there you kind of get an idea what they look like right up next to each other. And of course, if you have any more questions, feel free to toss them in the comment section. I definitely want to see what everybody has to say about these two. If you have any input or any opinions on this, maybe you choose the Smith & Wesson over, let me know why. I'd love to talk about it. I love hearing everybody's opinions, and I love discussing the different things between the two of them. And of course, any cool accessories that you found, let me know about those too, because I'm not the only one who would enjoy that information. But that is it for today. Just thought I'd get these two side by side, get people looking at them and thinking about which one they'd prefer if they can only afford one. I'm spoiled for choice, so I chose both. But I chose more than two, but we'll stick to just these two for now. But again, let me know what you think in the comments section. So as always, stay safe, keep your family safe, stay on your goals. Like I always say, if you fall off the wagon, you fall off the goals, get back up, dust yourself off, keep going back towards them. You don't learn unless you fail at something. If you do it the first time, succeed, awesome. But failing and then succeeding after failing, you'll never forget what happened that caused you to fail, and you will learn 100% faster. So keep that in mind. But until the next video, take it easy, and I'll talk to you guys then.